Okay, wonderful people. I apologize, I couldn't start on time. So I had some, technical difficulty. So what can I do? For some reason, my computer stopped working, and I couldn't do anything. I tried, a lot of stuff, but anyway, I'm about 40 minutes late, but it's okay. I hope you're gonna forgive me. Okay. So, and if you're gonna watch me, on any of the platforms, please, just to let me know if you do have any difficulties. Okay. So any difficulties. Now, also, I really appreciate if you can comment and ask me questions. That is kind of really important for me. Okay, so please join and comment. Okay, also please don't forget, there is an option if you're on YouTube or on a Facebook, so you always you can just subscribe. Don't forget to like it. And I found out, when you're doing a notification, there's a 3 different options. Please, I want to make sure you do understand that. So you really have to, do subscribe and like and get the notification, but get all the notifications. That way you're not gonna miss it. Okay, so that way you're not gonna miss it. All right. So, but anyway, I'm gonna continue to work on this piece, and hopefully you like so far what you see, and we're gonna continue, and I'm gonna try to answer all the questions. Okay, wonderful. So today what I want to do, I want to work on this part. Okay, just to develop a little bit more of this movement. Of course, I mean, I could jump somewhere else, but as of now, I'll just do that. All right. So as of now, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna check constantly chat. I want to see what people actually asking and so on. All right, let me see. Let me see. And Eli or Ali, I don't know how you pronounce hello. I see you. Okay, but let me concentrate on it. All right. So wonderful. For some reason, I don't see people from Facebook yet. If you see me, please let me know. I've got like 12 different platforms right now. Join me. So I just want to make sure you see that also. Okay, on a Facebook, and I've got on ВКонтакте and also Одноклассники, so please feel free to join me. All right. So let me work on it. So you can just watch me doing it, and meantime you can probably just ask me any questions. But let me check the connection. Okay, just want to make sure everything is connected and works fine. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna concentrate on the development of this chunk, and this chunk is kind of a big chunk, and I want to make sure it looks really good, and fluent to the overall movement, and you can't see beyond that point. There's going to be a lot more carving on this side, but my feeling, because right now it's just like I said, big chunk, and I have to think how I'm gonna do that. There's gonna be a corbel attached on another side, but maybe I have to get rid of that part first. By the way, you can ask me any carving related questions, like about sharpening and so on. I'm okay, and I'll try to answer as much as I can. But the first tool, what I'm gonna use, is just a skew. Just get my canvas prepared. Skew chisel, to be exact, okay? So that would be just a chisel, double bevel, but it's skewed to approximately 22 degrees. And for some reason my bench is moving, and that is not good. I have to be careful because I do have a shell, okay, and I don't want to hit that shell. I don't have too much space, and behind that shell there's another element going on from this element, also Acanthus, and it's gonna go all the way down, right? And Sergio, I see you. Wonderful to see you, okay? People, can you see me on the Facebook or not? Let me know, please. Let me know, please. And yes, looks like there's some people already watching. Okay, great. Stanley, Xia, I see you. All right, so like I said, we're gonna develop that element, and this element has to be really, really authentic to, like I said before in another streams, to Italian design. And it's not just Italian design. I mean, people sometimes just really confused about the designs. Okay, yes, this development is like you know, all the Acanthus movements and so on. But the idea is people don't understand that Acanthus is not just the Acanthus. There's a different types of Acanthus, which is regionally developed, and in some areas, you know, let's say if you go to Morocco, it's absolutely different Acanthus movement from you know, let's say if you go to Germany, German Acanthus, and it's not only German Acanthus development. You can go to Germany and you can see there's actually you know, northern German Acanthus, there's a southern German Acanthus. If you go to France, there's absolutely different Acanthus. Belgium, it's a different Acanthus. England, English Acanthus, you know. Well, you can go to even Slavic countries, you know, Russia, Ukraine, you know. You can see also Acanthus movement, and that's a different Acanthus. You can go as far as Mongolia. There's also Acanthus movements, but there's going to be different Acanthus movements. You can go to China, and I can go on and on and on. Almost all the cultures who actually carve stone and carve you know, wood, they somehow connected to the Acanthus leaf. But this particular case, it is Acanthus Venetian style, Italian style, authentic to 15th, 16th century, and it is different how the, you know, the movement develops, you know, the overall movement. You know, let's say well, if you look at this piece right here, so how I you know, divide it and so on. I'm still gonna divide a little more, but if you look at this piece, so you know, you can see this just this small chunk. So really short divisions. But if you go to France, so this part, for example, is going to be really long, and then it's going to be division like this. Okay, so that's the big difference. And people who do understand design and do understand the development of Acanthus and study that, actually the history of development of Acanthus, they can see. Also really important to understand concaves and the convexes. In different cultures, there's a different concaves and different convexes. Let's say if you go to Greece, you know, especially ancient times, and I can see you, Kostas. You are my friend from, you know, from Greece, and you probably know that the Greek culture is one of the most ancient cultures as far as the development of art and acanthuses. Okay, so what I'm trying to explain, if you look at let's say on Acanthus itself, the early Greek Acanthus, that would be only concaves. Not only concaves, it would have a groove with the middle line. So it would cut like that and like that. It just would leave a middle line groove, okay? And there would not be any convexes, not any parts would be raised. Everything would be just like a V-cut even, okay? So I would say just like this. That would be just a Greek Acanthus leaf. And the same applies to Roman Acanthus leaf. But Roman Acanthus leaf, they actually stole the idea from Greeks, from Greece culture, which is a really rich artistic culture. And they got rid of middle reach. They did not use just a knife to cut and create that middle line like a V cut, but they actually used some kind of gouge, and that would become just a concave cut. Okay, that would be also indication that Acanthus leaf is more Roman style, not Italian. Okay, even if it's in Italy, but when I'm saying Roman style, I would probably refer that only to the ancient Rome, to the Roman Empire. Okay, because this style is also from Italy, but it's not from Roman Empire anymore. So that would be a much later development. And the idea of Venetian style from Italy actually was not stolen, I shouldn't say, but was adapted. You know, the concave, convex, concave on the leaf was adapted from Byzantine. Okay, so which is early Orthodox movement, actually. Greece and the modern Turkey. It was Byzantine Empire, the Christian Byzantine Empire, and they developed beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ideas. This part, actually, if you can see that or not, let me show you from a bigger, a little bit. Angle. So this part, like a head of Acanthus, movement like that, it's going up and up and up, and really deep excavation on the side. Can you see my pencil? And it's solid piece. I did not apply anything. I didn't glue anything. I mean, and if you are a member of my school, so if you're a member of my school, you'll see exactly how I develop stuff like this, okay? So without even gluing. But Byzantine Acanthus leaf was before, development of Italian Uvinus Acanthus leaf, okay? And what I'm trying to explain, this was adapted by Italian culture and actually made it even beautiful, because early Italian, not Roman, but I'm talking about later period, but it's still early Italian development of like 15th, 16th century. They really love curliness, and you can see it just the curls, a lot of movement, a lot of curvatures and so on, and just a lot of divisions and so on. So that's what I'm trying to stick. That's what I want to develop. But let me see chat, and let me see if somebody's asking. Okay. Oh yes, Sergio, that is a wonderful question. One of my and the question is about number 11 Weiner. Number 11 Weiner, 1 millimeter, half a millimeter, and maybe 1.5 millimeters. Let me show you what he's asking about. Sergio, wonderful question. Okay, let me show it to you. That is a absolutely. Let me pull it. Some of them 1 millimeter and half a millimeter. And what I'm gonna do, for you can see that better, I'll use a whiteboard. Okay, so you can see those small tools, which is a number 11, all of them number 11, and 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, 1.5 millimeters, and half a millimeter. So 1/16 of an inch, less than 1/16, 1/32 of an inch. So we've got on and on, okay? so in the 1 millimeter. The problem with those tools, how to sharpen them, what's the approach, the best approach, because it's a really tiny, and how would you sharpen them? Let me tell you. So that board was kind of not too interesting. Let me see if I do have a different angle for you can see, you know, my sharpening system. Okay, and let me know if you see that. All right, so hopefully you see that. So there's sharpening systems. I have multiple ones. Okay, I do have Koch German system. Let me turn the lights on for you can see that better. I do have a Worksharp. So can you see that? I mean, let me know if you see that or not. Okay, and I do have a Tormax system, which is the older version, the metal body. And I do have another, just a grinder, but I've got just the leather wheels. And I have other ones also in another area of my shop. But those ones, the main ones. All right. So that is a great question Sergey asked me. The main way I'm sharpening my tools and reshaping, and of course you probably know there's different stages of sharpening, and the main stage is actually to reshape. Okay, so you really have to take a tool and completely reshape. Okay, how I mean, because the tools when they're coming out from a manufacturer, they're not shaped correctly. Let me just show you an example. And the example, if I have any tools, let me find any tools which I did not reshape yet, which is hard to find. Most of them actually already reshaped. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Well, even if I got can't find any tool I can show you because most of my tools already reshaped. Oh, I found one. Okay, I found one. All right. So let me show it to you. Okay. So right here, take a look. Okay, see this bevel? So doesn't matter how big that tool is, how small that tool is, that bevel is not the best bevel. Although it all depends. Of course, this bevel, you know, those people just who making those tools, they don't really care about creating bevel which is supposed to be the right bevel, because there's different opinions about what degree that bevel is supposed to be, how you have to reshape that, and you know, how you're supposed to carve. But the main idea when you're carving, the bevel supposed to grab, I mean, the tool supposed to grab wood, and if you look at the handle, so you barely supposed to fit the hand underneath and touch with the knuckles. Okay, and if you're grabbing the wood when you just do that, then the bevel is correct if you're carving by hand. Okay, in this case it's too high and it is riding on my heel, that part called heel of the tool. So, and there's a reason why is that too short or high bevel, I call it, because if you use a mallet, let me show you a bigger picture. If you're using mallet, so you have to raise it because your head not supposed to touch the wood, and when you carve, let's say, you have to raise and able to hit, so that bevel is supposed to be a little higher. Okay, but I still, even with the mallet, I still create my bevels really long. Okay, so let me show you close. Okay, let me show you really close. Okay, I create my bevel, you know, really long. See that? So it's approximately 20 millimeters, about 3/4 of an inch bevel. And let me show you exactly almost the same size tool, and you can see the difference. Okay, maybe I can just turn and you can see a reflection. See the difference in the bevel? Wonderful. Okay, now go back to number 11. Number 11, let's say you do have a 1 millimeter. And where is my 1 millimeter? 1 millimeter number 11. Okay, and there's the different brands actually. You can get 1 millimeter or half a millimeter. Let me show you. This one is by Two Cherries, 1 millimeter. And I have Lamp, Germany, but I'm not sure if I can find that or not. I think so, yes. Anyway, right there is a Lamp, German brand, also 1 millimeter. And I also do have in different brands half a millimeter tools. So first what I have to do when I get my small tools, so I still have to get my bevel kind of long, but it's not going to be as long. But you can see I created the bevel on this tool approximately, I would say, 5 millimeters, maybe 6 millimeters, 5.5 millimeters, I would say, about 3/16 of an inch. Okay, about 3/16 of an inch. And this part, the way I do that, it's easy. I'm actually just using work sharp, and the beauty of this machine. So, and if you can see that. I mean, I do have the lessons actually online about how I sharpen. And I know this camera is far, and that is okay, please forgive me. So I use this system all the time for all of my tools, small ones or big tools. I utilize the bar, which is the older version. They do have a newer version. I bought actually extra bar attachment from Tormac. And there's a video also on my school site, you can see. But the thing is, I'm using Tormac jigs, okay, using Tormac jigs. But sharpening itself is done on a work sharp, okay? And the work sharp, you could just change the grid and so on. The only difference when I'm just doing the tool like this, I'm not using aggressive sandpaper. I'm using maybe about 220, 400, and then 3600, which is 3,500, little more than that, and the 6000, and then just to take on a leather wheel and just a sharpening. Okay, so that is what I'm doing on the outside. Let me, before I go to explain how I attack inside, because it's also important, let me tell you why I'm using this system. All right, and maybe I can explain you better if I can draw that here. Okay, so pretty much the question is if I do have like a Tormac, and I love the jigs from Tormac. It's just genius guys who invented those jigs. I love it. And I love to the certain degree the Tormac system itself for sharpening. But there's caveats, okay? There's problems I'm having with, not only with Tormac, but with all of the grinders, okay? So I absolutely have... I had a problem to solve. I have like, half a thousand different gouges, different, chisels and veiners, and I did not want to destroy it, okay? And what I mean by that, okay, let's say I'm gonna just exaggerate. Okay? Any grinder, it's a wheel-based. Of course, it's gonna be exaggerated. Okay, so that is going to be a grinder wheel, and you usually attack your tool like this, or whatever the angle you attack. Okay, and it goes either direction. Tormac goes opposite direction. Most of the grinders go this direction. But the problem I see, okay, this curvature, okay, let me get rid of this part. What happens actually, what happens in this part? This part right here, it becomes really, really weak, okay, and you can break your tool really easily. If you're doing a bevel really high, like for example for turning, that does not become a problem because it doesn't really create a really weak point. But I'm talking about really long bevels, like up to 25 millimeters, okay, like 1 inch. So, and this becomes really weak. So I really love the idea of using just a stone, normal stone, just by hand. And for example, let me show you one of them. Diamond stone right here. Okay, and when I'm sharpening on a stone, so it gives me absolutely flat surface, so, flat, not surface, but flat bevel. Okay, so this bevel right here, so it gives me absolutely flat bevel, and this point is not as weak. All right, and the only problem is when I'm using stones. Doesn't matter what kind of stones you're using, water stones, oil stones, diamond stones, it just takes so long to create the long bevel, like 25 millimeters, even if you do that 25 millimeters. Approximately, usually I would say about 10 millimeters, 14 millimeters on some of my tools, and some of them 25 millimeters, okay? So that's what I'm after, okay? So 3/8 of an inch, about half an inch, and approximately 1 inch, okay? So that is my bevel. Hope it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, please ask me, and I'm checking my chat all the time. So please ask me at any moment, all right? So now, I had a problem to solve. How do I create flat bevel? All right, Tormac doesn't work because it creates curvature. Other, grinders, doesn't matter how expensive, $1,000, and so they still create that curvature, and it is not the best solution for me. Okay. Also, I do have a problem with Tormac. If you look at the Tormac, it has only one wheel. Okay, that's the problem. Yes, I mean it is one wheel. You can probably just use. I do have that also, truing stone, and it has 2 different sides. It has 2 different sides, and let me show that to you. So rough side and a fine side. Okay, so that is actually creates 2 different grits, 2 different levels of roughness. Okay, so that is the problem I'm having. All right, so which means I am limited. I'm limited even on a Tormac, to 2 different grits. That's the problem. So really rough and semi-fine, and that's the only I can do. Stones, okay, if you're using just the stones, like I said, it doesn't matter how expensive stones are, how cheap those stones are, it's also kind of limited. Okay, let me tell you why. Okay, here's for example kind of expensive stone I have, and that's double-sided. I have multiple of them, but this stone cost me like $200, and that's a good water stone, beautiful water stone. And I have to have multiple stones, and I have to create like truing them and so on. I mean, just to make them really flat. And I usually use like 4 stones, which a cumulative price would be about $800. And even more expensive stones, stones, is going to cost you even more. So, and that's the problem I had to solve. and that takes a lot of space, and I have to have a water all the time. Also, by the way, about the tarmac, that is also the problem. You have to put constantly water because you have to feed that stone all the time, and that's also the problem. It's a moisture in my shop, and it's close to my tools, and I don't think I like that idea. Okay, so I had the problem to solve, and I found a solution how to create that flat, really flat bevel. And the way I actually found it, I went one day to just a woodcraft store, and I found that inexpensive machine. It's imported from overseas, cost like $200. Used to be $200. Right now it's a little cheaper, which is Sharp. And right here, this is the machine itself. And I had a doubts about it because it's a little flimsy. You can see it's not even staying flat on my bench. And when you just using the rotation, when you just turn this on, the wheel is also like flexible. All right. So it still rides like that. Okay. So and I had a doubts. I had to walk in and out multiple times. All right. Multiple times. So, but anyway, so I decided to buy because the reason why, first of all, it does have a different wheels. It just uses, glass wheels, and I have multiple glass wheels. And you apply just sandpaper pretty much on those wheels. I've got 400 grit sandpaper on the glass wheel. I've got 220, 120, 80 grit, 3600, 6000, and I do have a leather wheel. Let me show that to you. And a felt wheel. There's a felt wheel I can buff, and I can use a stropping wheel, which is just a leather applied. And it takes me, I'm pretty much actually just took it out from the machine. It took me literally about 10 seconds how fast I can change those wheels. And the biggest, probably the biggest advantage, that sandpaper is not expensive at all, and I can just tear it out and replace it with no problem. And also it just lasts really long. So that's what I like. And it doesn't have any water. I don't need to keep that water close to my machine or to my tools. It's really slow. It's really safe. I can put any grit. I can touch it. A lot safer than any of the grinders, big like 1-horse grinder. It used to have a bar attachment made by the workshop. They don't make this part anymore. All right, that is the problem. But at Tormac, they do have a solution. I do have online actually one of the lessons how to use the Tormac bar attachment for this machine or any other machines. Okay, but the thing is, it solved my problem. Okay, I could right now. Let me show that to you. Right now, I can create the flat bevel because it rides just on a wheel. Okay, I can just change as many grits as I wish. I can go with 80, 120, 220, 400, 600, 800, 1000, 3600, 6000, up to 12,000 grit if I need to. I can just strop it on a ladder. I can buff it with just buffing wheel, which is just a felt wheel. So I solved that problem. Okay. But if you know a little bit about wood carving, it is not only the problem you have to solve. Okay, another problem you have to solve. Wood carving tools supposed to have not only outer bevel but also inner bevel. Okay, so there's a few different reasons why you do really need that. Okay, let me explain. Let me explain. All right, so this point right here, let me get rid of this. And I hope it's clear, okay? I hope it's clear. Let me explain. See, I've got my bevel, which is like this, and I can take as long as I wish, even like that, okay? So almost all the way. And some of my tools I'm actually rounding. I'm rounding this heel also, just going almost like this, really smooth, and just go all the way to the point. But this point is still kind of weak. It's really, really weak yet, okay? So what I do, number one, why I create that inner bevel. Let me draw another representation. There's your bevel. And originally, it goes like that, okay? But when you create the inner bevel, you make this point much stronger. So you're already creating that bevel and creating that point much stronger. You still have a really long bevel, low profile. You still can fit your hand underneath with no problem. So because it's a low, you can carve and having no problem. But your tool is much stronger. Second, why you need that bevel on inside, as you know, so you don't use the tool only with the one position, okay, just like that. Okay, there's a long bevel. You also use that tool upside down, all right, and you still have to be able to carve. Okay, so that's why you also need that inner bevel. All right. So, but the question what Sergio asked, how do you create the micro bevel on inside of, not the micro bevel, but inner bevel on inside of the really small micro tools like this? Okay. So that is a big question, especially let's say you have 0.5 millimeter. Okay. How you do that? And the solution, I mean, if it would be another tool, it would be easy. You could just use slipstones, and with the slipstones, as long as it fits on inside, so you can just create that inner bevel. But the problem is there's absolutely no slipstones who can do that, okay? And the slipstones are not cheap. All right, let me show you how I do that. All right, let me show how I do that. The solution is, it's just a sandpaper. Okay, just a sandpaper. I'm just showing you 3,000, but I do have up to 12,000. But the sandpaper can, I mean, you can use just the 220 sandpaper. And the way you do that, if you have a chip, that is chip from my yesterday's carving, you wrap that sandpaper like this. Okay. And I hope you can see that. And pretty much you're doing exactly the same what you would do with the slipstone. Okay, see? And the sandpaper creates that inner bevel. And in this case, I've got 1 millimeter, but you can do even 0.5 millimeter. But with the 0.5 millimeter, you even don't have to have like a chip or wood. So you can just use paper like this, okay, and just get in and create your inner bevel and also buff it. This case is 3,000. That's how I use that to buff on inside. I have, like I said, like up to 12,000. Okay. So that one is abrasive paper made for the machine shops. And that's a silicon carbide 3000, and that is a waterproof. So you can actually put some water on it, and that's made for the automobiles. But it's beautiful. I mean, it just gets the job done. Also, sometimes, if I don't want to spend money on, on expensive stuff, what I can do, I can actually use just a sandpaper to sharpen any of my tools. Pretty much, flat surface, and I can use it as a stone. Okay, that's how you sharpen by hand. Okay, hope it makes sense. Okay, and again, sandpaper is not expensive and all. You just throw that away, and you don't have to buy, any stones. By the way, I probably have to mention to you. Okay, so let me show that. All right, I've got a gift from Shaaf Tools. It's a China-made tools, but right now they doing also diamond stone. Okay, double-sided, 1000 grit, and another side is 400 grit, and it's not expensive in all. Okay, so that is probably the cheapest, I would say, as far as I know. Maybe there is some cheaper, but the cheapest but semi-professional solution. Okay, so this stuff, I mean, let me show you closer. Okay, take a look. Okay, that is just a diamond stone, really flat and nice, works really great. But the thing is, it's not expensive and all. I mean, if it's not Shaaf brand, you can pay exactly the same money for just a holder of the stone, but it includes the stone and a holder for the price. I don't know the current price, but I know it's not expensive. By the way, if you are a member of my school, for members only of my school, I do have an extra 15% discount on all of the Shaaf tools, including all of the sets. And they have 3 sets right now. They have 12, I believe, tools equal to file set. The file you would pay approximately $1,400 something for exactly the same tools. I mean, I'm talking about the sweeps and sizes. Shaaf, you would pay $95, I believe it's what the price is, minus 15% if you are a member of my school. All right, so they have 4 tools set for the beginners, which is really cheap, and plus 15% off. They have 7 tools. They sent it to me also, really excellent tools. I actually reshaped one, and I showed you in one of my streams. Let me show that closer to you. I mean, you can't even tell the difference between file or Swiss made and this one if you never saw them. I mean, of course, for people who carve, they do know the difference. I mean, there is a big difference. But my main thing, how that tool is performing. And again, I use just my work sharp, created my bevel, which is in this case, it's about 20 millimeters. Bevel, really nicely, just done bevel on inside. This tool is not expensive at all, and it just carves exactly the same like file tools. Okay, and that's all you need pretty much. I mean, if you're just a hobbyist, I mean, you can buy pretty much just one set and forget about spending. We're talking about the biggest set is $95. Okay, some of the gouges, it's just one gouge is like $150 sometimes. Most of the time it's about $40, $45. Some of them like $35. But we're talking about the price of the whole set is just like the price of a couple gouges. That's the thing. And I'm not selling anything, okay? Don't get me wrong, because I'm not making any money on it, okay? I'm not making any money from those guys in all. They do have a mallet, by the way. Let me see if I have it or not. If I can show that to you. I have multiple mallets right here. Yeah, I've got a mallet, and this mallet is equal pretty much to the good brand mallet. This one is a Wood is Good mallet, which is lasting me for a long time, and that is a Shaaf mallet. All right, so can you see the difference? It's pretty much equal mallets. All right, and I don't know how this one is gonna last. That is the question, but on the other hand, my good expensive mallet didn't last a long time also. I found one crumpled, I mean completely gone. All right, so wonderful. So I hope I explained, and I tried to explain my best. If you do have any more questions, please ask me. All right, let me read. Okay. Jose, wonderful. I also actually did on YouTube one of the videos. I used just the shaft tools, and I carved the grapes with that. I mean, they work the same. Essentially, all you need is just the metal part. That's what you worry about, okay? And the biggest problem I see with the tools, how they hardened. Most of the tools, they hardened to Rockwell about 59 to 62. This is a 62. And the question, I mean, to be simple, okay? I'm not trying to complicate stuff. This one is a hardened to 62. Okay, so Rockwell is 62. Okay, so which is a little harder than Ashley Isles. Ashley Isles approximately 58, 59, which I love actually. The little softer, but it works. I mean, exactly the same way like file. And I carved, also on YouTube there's a video about those grapes. I did not even reshape. I just took out of the box and carved the whole project, just buffed that little bit, and they hold edge. I mean, no problem so far. Okay, so I hope it helps. Okay, so to answer your question, why should you spend a lot of money if you don't do it professionally? If you can just spend a little bit and still do the stuff. And by the way, I mean, there was a time when I carved only with one knife and one gouge. That's it. Okay, and I carved also. I mean, you really don't have to have a lot of tools if you, especially just doing hobby. But if you get to the professional level, if you're doing a professional level like work like this, you can't get that with one tool. Okay, you really can't get that with one tool. So you really have to just collect more tools, especially if you get really complicated stuff, go underneath and excavate on inside. So with one tool, you're not going to be able to get all the way, in those cavities and create a beautiful movement. All right. So let me get back to my carving. All right. Any more questions? Please don't be afraid. I'm gonna get my tools back. So my number 11 is gonna go in this drawer, and I'm gonna continue. All right. And like I said, I still wanna carve today a little bit. Okay. I still want to carve a little bit, and I'm going to develop just slightly, not much, but slightly, just this area. Just this area. So that is going to be my middle line. Okay, let me see. There is a question in chat. Hello, can you please link the chisels and gouges that are cheaper? Yes, absolutely, I will. I will. That's okay. But again, I want to repeat. Discount 15% is applies only to the members, which is behind my login. Okay, schoolofwoodcarving.com. Okay, and again, I'm gonna remind you, if you're watching me, on YouTube and the Facebook, please don't forget to like it, subscribe, and don't forget about hitting that bell, and not only just the bell, but make sure you get all the notifications. All right. So yes, I will attach later, those tools. Oh, by the way, actually, there is a solution. If you go to the front page of my school, schoolofwoodcarving.com, and scroll down to Q&A, questions and answers, and there's a tab, recommended tools. Click on it, and you can see the shaft tools link to the Amazon, and that's gonna be all the products they offer right there. So please let me type it, okay, or let me actually find that. So let me post that link for you. All right, right here. Let me see if you got it. All right, so follow this link and there's going to be shaft tools. All right, hope you see it. Again, I'm not making any money on that. Please don't get any ideas. All right, so let me get to this development. Before I develop this, I probably have to attack a little bit this side because that's supposed to go underneath. That's supposed to go underneath. All right, Sergio, thank you very much. Oh, by the way, Sergio is a member of my school from day one, you know, and that's like right now 3 years old, and he is actually watching every video, and I really do appreciate you, you know, Sergio. All right, so middle line, I need to probably use marker or something like that for see much better. So that would be my middle line. Let me know if you see that, okay? If you see okay. Jose, question. For the school, is there a supply list for the classes we will need? Not really. I mean, not really. It's a good question. But I do have a different level lessons. I have some for the beginners, and all you need for the beginner level, it's pretty much, let me show it to you, just one knife. Okay, that's what we're using for just a beginner lesson. Okay, so we're using just one knife. All right, and that's, I mean, check it out. It's a really good lesson. For the more complicated, yes, of course, you're gonna need you know, accumulate some tools, but most of the projects you can get done with those inexpensive tools. Okay, yes, I'm telling what tool I'm using, but my approach is, I'm always saying when I'm teaching in life, I'm talking about when I teach in schools and universities, I'm saying there's more than one approach to carving, more than one tool you can get to the same result. Pretty much, I mean, those shaft tools, you can get them and get most of the projects on my site. Pretty much you can do that, okay? But if you want to get more professional, if you want to be the next level, yes, you probably have to buy more professional tools. You have to buy File, Swiss Made, Ashley Isles, Henry Taylor tools, Addis. If you can find those yet, you can probably just still find them on eBay. But professional tools, okay? So because professional tools are professional tools. I mean, who can compete with professional tools? But you be ready to pay a lot more money, okay? But we're talking about if you're gonna be at a higher level, or if you really appreciate the real quality tools, okay? Again, when I'm talking quality, I mean, don't get wrong ideas. There's a different idea about the quality, okay? You know, what is really quality? It's the same like quality food. What is quality food? For some people, quality food just to go to McDonald's and get the burger. It's a quality food. And for some people, they're looking for the perfect steakhouse. It's a quality food. But for some people, steakhouse not gonna do it. They have to just hire really professional, you know, people to cook for them and pay them $1,000 per meal. Hey, what is quality food? I live in South Florida, and there's a lot of people actually who have billions of dollars living here, and there's just the one place where they eat, you know, in one of the restaurants, and we're talking about just the breakfast, 2 eggs, you know, cost about $1,400, $1,400, just the breakfast, 2 eggs, okay? And are those eggs quality eggs? Are they different? Are they from golden chicken or something. No, okay, but they think it's a quality food. I'm not judging, of course, absolutely not. But do I want to spend $1,400 for 2 eggs for my breakfast just because I have some money? I don't, okay? I can just buy 98 cents the whole cassette, of eggs and cook my eggs if I eat eggs, okay? And have a 5 days breakfast if I wish to eat eggs for breakfast, although I don't. I'm just giving that as an example, all right? So that's the point, okay? You can pay for one tool like $150 sometimes, and you can pay for one tool $10. Is there a difference? Oh, absolutely, little bit. Yes, the handle is nicer, polished better, but the main idea is a metal part, okay? How it holds the edge, that's the main idea. Handle you can replace. The tool is actually pretty much only this part, okay? That is your tool, that part. And this, I mean, you can apply your own if you wish. Practice your turning skills, okay? Hope it answers. All right, but let me get back to work. Maybe I'm still going to be able to carve a little. Oh, by the way, please, people, again, I'm going to remind you, if you like my live streams, let me know. I really appreciate. I'm just trying out. I don't know what is the best times yet. I still have to figure this out, all right? Because I do know there's people who, even in my school, I've got people from all over the world who is part of my school and different time zones, and I need to find out what is the best time for everyone to watch. All right, today I decided to go a little earlier, like 11 o'clock, but I had a little glitch with a technical issue. But please forgive me. Please forgive me. Okay, let me show that little closer to you what I'm trying to do. So I want to get my middle line really fluent and going all the way down. I'm probably not going to touch this area because I'm still going to develop probably another idea right here. But this chunk, that's what I want to attack. So this chunk. And this chunk is going to be my Acanthus, and it is going to be authentic. It is going to be authentic to Italy. All right. So every Acanthus is supposed to have main divisions, either 3 or 5 or 8. So it's connected to Fibonacci sequence, okay? 3, 5, 8, and so on and so on, okay? But most of the time it's either 3 or 5. So that is going to be my division point, those triangles. That is going to be my pipe, which is going to go this way. That is going to be my pipe going this way. But now I need to reestablish the middle line, and I have to probably chop this out. Everything's supposed to go to the middle line. To the middle line. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense. All right. So that I have to probably lower. I could keep this piece actually. I could keep this piece and carve something like a detail underneath. But I think that's what I'm gonna do. And the tool I'm gonna use number 11 and 7 millimeters. Number 11 veiner. It's not the gouge, it's a veiner, okay? Which is actually designed for those Acanthus movements to create the veins in Acanthus. This is 7 millimeters, little bigger than 1/4 inch. And I'm gonna chop a little bit, you know, just gonna relieve those triangles. So I've got an idea. I'm gonna keep this chunk, okay? I'm gonna keep that chunk. All right. And let me, oh, actually I could use the same tool and create a little bit separation right here. Okay, that is good. Now I need to determine every acanthus is supposed to have eyes and pipes. All right, so that would be my pipe, and the pipe is raised part, and the eye, it's flipping over part. One part flips above another one. There's going to be another eye. And again, I am authentic to the original Venus design in this case, and this part not supposed to be really long, okay? So we're talking about the head, so it has to be authentic to the original, you know, idea, and they did not have back then really long ones. Longer ones developed little later, okay? So, but the way I'm gonna do those eyes, I have to make the decision. Right now, just like a flat surface, and you can practice, by the way, just on a piece of wood. But I need to make the decision if this part gonna go below this line or that part. Exactly the same right here. What I probably gonna do, I think in this case, this part gonna go below that one, okay? I think it's gonna make more sense. And number 11, same number 11 actually I'm using, okay? My first cut, and I'm leaning little bit toward the right side. It's not really undercutting, but it just gives me an idea that piece gonna go underneath. And I actually can go lower if I wish. But right here, I mean, see this part gonna go this direction, but on another side it's gonna go opposite direction. This part gonna go underneath of here, right? Let me read it. Good morning, Richard. Good to see you. Wow, since 4 a.m. you were carving. That's wonderful. But I'm gonna use same tool again. See, I'm leaning toward this side now, and I'm kind of undercut. It's not really undercut, but I'm creating little motion. Okay, just go that direction. Okay. All right. So the next step would be just blend. I really don't need those ridges anymore. Okay, those ridges. Okay, I'm gonna keep. Well, let me use a different marker. Maybe it's gonna be better to explain. So I'm gonna keep this ridge right here, and I'm gonna keep this ridge as of now. Okay, but that I have to get rid, and that I have to get rid. Not to get rid, but blend. Okay, because I really need to create the feel an eye supposed to be that shape, exactly the same supposed to be right here. All right, so it's supposed to feel like it's going underneath, and that goes underneath right there. Okay, and to blend it I'll use just skew. Just a skew, just like that. Oh, also there's a different approach to Acanthus, how you treat, this part of this movement. And I'm gonna show you probably if I'm gonna have time. We'll see. I don't want to stream for hours. But see what I'm doing? I'm just blending it. All right, I know it doesn't look finished, and it's not supposed to look finished yet. But at least I can see that I'm able actually to create even more divisions. That is going to be my point. And right here, see this? It just gives me that ability. But now this part I have to repeat on that side. And go that way. And let me do that right away. Again, really important. So this part, not really long. It's more like almost like a round. If you can just circle it, so it's like almost circle part. So you don't do really long one like in the French style. Well, not, I mean, I shouldn't say French style, because it's also all depends what part of France I'm talking about, okay? So let me relieve those triangles. Let me relieve those triangles. And now I need to shape of whatever, you know, I'm looking at this line, and the way I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna attack that with probably number 5, I would say, 1 inch, and pretty much right away it gives me the shape I'm after. And this part is gonna be like a letter S movement, okay? Gonna hit that once, and it's already giving me that movement. And this part I still gonna use probably the same tool, just like that, and I can start and remove some of it. But again, I'm not gonna go too deep, otherwise I'm gonna damage you know, the surface, and then it's gonna be hard to get rid of tool marks, which I don't wanna do, okay? So I've got the main shape. Let me use the same tool, and maybe I can just refine a little bit this corner. Okay. If you have any question about Acanthuses and so on, please feel free to ask me. It's probably a good time to ask. Right? It's probably a good time to ask. Okay, so I've got the pipe, I've got this movement, so that is a middle line of this movement, and that is gonna be my development right here. And I also gonna make the divisions on the inside like that. Okay, and one of them are gonna go underneath of this part. Exactly the same on this side, but let me clean a little bit the surface, because right now it just doesn't look too good. It's too messy. Okay, and I usually do that because I wanna see much better. Okay, so this is gonna go like that. That is gonna be the middle line, and I will have more divisions like that. And it's gonna give me that curliness, if you wish, although this line doesn't look good. I need to probably move it a little bit, my middle line. Let me clean it. Let me know if you're still able to see me. All right, looks like my computer struggling right now, and I'm gonna stop my live streaming. For some reason, I can see it's starting to, just restream and so on. So if there's no glitches, that is good. That is good. All right, appreciate. But I'm gonna move this line a little bit this direction, and this part is what I need a little bigger. Okay. All right, and the rest of it is gonna go underneath of that movement. But let me subdivide, take care of those triangles. Same idea. I'm gonna use just the number 11, Wiener. Relieve it, and see, I don't do too deep because I really don't want to hit that surface, and then I'm gonna have another problem to clean, to deal. All right. But anyway, let me, it's enough for today's streaming, I think. I'm still going to continue to carve for my school, and people who is actually part of my school, they're going to be able to see the whole process from the beginning pretty much of this development. And not only that, but I have different projects, but looks like my computer a little struggling right now. It just takes a lot of CPU, even if I have a really beefy computer, but still just takes a lot of CPU. And please, if you're still here and you still did not subscribe, please like it, subscribe it, okay? And don't forget to hit that bell. Not only bell, but go up and just hit that all the notifications, all right? So that would be the best idea, all right? And let me show you today's result, which I did not do too much, but I tried to explain just about wood carving and some sharpening. Please get ready with your questions for the next one, all right? And the next one, I'll see what I'm gonna do. I don't know yet. I'll try to get as many times live as possible. We'll see if it's gonna be okay or not. I'll try, okay? Maybe even twice, because like I said, there's a lot of people in my school, and I've got people from Australia, New Zealand, from Japan, from China, Bangladesh, I mean another side, from Russia, some Arabic countries, and the time there, it's already really late, but here's still, kind of early. But on another hand, there's a lot of people still working who is actually in the United States, in Canada, South America. So I have a lot of students from South America, and of course USA a lot, and and I live on the East Coast in Florida, but I have students on the West Coast, which is 3 hours, apart from me, and there's only 10 o'clock right now, and maybe a later time is also going to be good. All right. So let me know, please, what time is the best for you. Okay, let me know. Just go on my channel on YouTube. Just Google me on YouTube if you're watching me on a Facebook, and go right there. And I do have a poll, and please vote. I really appreciate if you can do that today. Okay, on my community tab, just go on my main page on YouTube, which is just Google Grabovetskiy. My last name, and you'll see my channel, and go to the community tab, and there's a poll, what time is the best for you for the stream, because I'm still trying to adjust, like I was saying. Okay, so thank you very much, wonderful people. I'll see you next time. Again, one more time, just overall shot. Let me know you know, also even after the stream is going to be finished, let me know, okay, how the picture was, how the quality was. Okay, thank you very much. Right, have a good one.